Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Checking in on the commodities space, we'll look at the dollar, gold, silver, miners, oil, and natural gas. So the dollar has a big upper wick on the weekly time frame, and this is a good example of why it's always important to zoom into shorter term time frames to get the complete picture of what's going on. Because you look at this weekly candle and you say that's a bearish reversal candlestick and that's a red flag for the bulls. And while that may be enough to be a red flag for you, if we look at the daily time frame, we can see that we're still very clearly in an uptrend, and we've only given back in 2 days of consolidation, really just that one big green day push up to end July, and anything above 97.50 is a higher low. So when I see this weekly candlestick, I know to zoom in and check the daily time frame, and I can say to myself, we're only going to really see weekly consolidation if we lose the daily uptrend. So we'll be anticipating the dollar bulls at least to initially hold a daily high or low, and in my opinion, to lose the daily uptrend, it would require a failure to see continuation and then rolling over with a lower high and lower low. So that is obviously what the gold and silver bulls want to see, is the dollar change the daily uptrend. So gold is seeing a bit of healthy consolidation. We do have a double top to be aware of, and that's up at 1452, and we formed a lower high 1449. So that's a very important resistance level, and if that stands all week, it's going to increase the odds that the bulls are going to be unable to get over that level. If we can clear that level, it'll be the highest price we've seen in 2019 on gold, and that would be notable. But otherwise, we're looking down at support of 1400 psychological, which is now a triple bottom essentially on the daily time frame over the past few weeks. Silver is pulling back a little bit more significantly. So if we again just look at the XAU, XAG chart to compare who's stronger, gold or silver, this bounce on the daily time frame that we were keeping an eye on when we were in such oversold conditions, that tells us it's the gold bulls gaining on silver, as the silver consolidation is more significant than gold. It's a daily inside bar. There are lower wicks, and it's very healthy on the weekly time frame, but gold just a bit stronger to end last week. So if the bulls here can break this inside bar bullish on Monday and get over 1634, then we'll say that our weekly high or low has been established, and the bulls will be attempting a weekly bull flag. And if we do not, then we'll just be looking at further consolidation to take place. So how this inside bar breaks on Monday is going to give us some clues, and potentially some clues for gold as well. So the senior miners and the junior miners, very similar. Probably most similar they've been on the daily time frame. Really, you just switch back and forth between the two. Can't tell who's who. That means we're very strongly correlated. So we're looking at resistance 28.41, the highest price we've seen. Same as gold, looking up at the highest price it's seen in 2019. And the bulls are hoping that's our weekly high or low, and that a bull flag can continue, or I should say can confirm and see continuation. So both gold, or I should say both junior and senior miners are the same. So previously we were looking at the senior miners being stronger, the junior miners played catch up, and now they're neck and neck. So it's a bit of a guessing game as to which one is going to be better to play, whether you're looking bullish or bearish, and perhaps the shorter term time frames can give a slight indication, but overall not a significant difference between the two. Checking in on oil, we had a bearish week overall. A little bit of a bounce attempt on Friday, but again, just watching this long, drawn-out weekly equilibrium. Anything over 50.59 keeps support. Anything under 60.89 keeps resistance, and expecting a break sometime later August out of this pattern, which is going to be key because this pattern is 10 months in the making. So just being very patient. Natural gas dropped down to a lower low. Again, we're watching the falling wedge on the weekly time frame, and that's a pattern showing the bears getting exhausted, where they can't get much follow through on lower lows. And as we're heading into September, and I should say to fall and winter, we're watching for seasonality to potentially come into play. Big bull move after not getting a ton of follow through on the lower low, gave it all back real quick, but again, not a lot of follow through on that lower low. So I'm just watching the clear lower high and lower low pattern right now, but again, keeping an eye on natural gas in August and September, watching to see if this weekly time frame can give us a break of this tightening downward channel that we have been within for pretty much all of 2019. So bottom line, we're going to be watching, of course, the S&P 500 to keep an eye on that weakness. As we know, if gold and the S&P 500 are going in the same direction, that's when the miners get their most significant move. So on Thursday, we had gold going up significantly and the S&P 500 dropping significantly. And while that means we're still going to see gains in bull miners, it's not as significant. So I'm always watching what's the market doing, what's gold doing. Then I check in and say who's stronger. Is it the senior miners or the junior miners? And that's how I get my overall gauge each morning as to which direction to be looking in that sector. And otherwise just patiently waiting in the other sectors for some more clarity on the longer term time frames. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you Monday. So looking at some of the perennials that I've planted over the past couple weekends, we've got some figs and some raspberries and blueberries and more raspberries. These figs are a hardy kind, and they'll only end up being about 5 feet tall, more of a bush. And we'll look at some of the bigger ones here in just a second. But the process of what I did is I just dug a hole, and then I took that soil and I would put it in the raised beds. So now the raised beds have a bunch of different colored soil from all over the property with different mineral makeup and all that. And so I would dig the hole, I'd put some manure in it, I'd put some organic fertilizer in there and put the plant in there, and then I would make little moats because we're on a little bit of a slope here. So I made a moat in the back of the plant where water will pool as it comes down the hill. And then in the front of the plant I made a little moat as well, and then I lined it with rocks. So right in under here, I've got little rocks all lined up to help catch that water as it moves down the slope. And then I put some cardboard down to cover the grass up, and then covered the cardboard with wood chips on everything except for the blueberries. I used pine needles on the blueberries because as that breaks down into the soil, it adds acidity, and the blueberries like acidic soil. So we'll go look at some other ones that I did. One fig among the ornamentals. We've got this tree starting to flower as well. Still working on the raised beds. Haven't done a whole lot on those as I've been working on the perennial planting. Another couple blueberries here. One of them produces pink berries, which I've never seen before, so that'll be interesting. And this is next to the raspberries and the grapes up there. Over the winter, I'm going to cover this grass here that's overgrowing with cardboard and snuff it out, and maybe put strawberries there for next spring. And then I got 3 figs. These are going to be big trees. These are going to be 20 feet high when they fully grow. So more figs, and I used some rocks that I found from around the property, some really cool sandstone and different colors. And I put the bigger rocks, again, I did the same thing with the bigger rocks and the smaller rocks underneath the mulch to catch some of the water on this slope. And some more, did some blueberries, and then here are these small figs that we did a couple weeks ago. They're starting to get their new growth. And more blueberries, and I planted them here as there's a split in the trees, so hopefully they get enough sunlight. And I just found a hawk feather. That's that. Got a cedar swing set up. My buddy Casey helped me put that together. So a spot to hang out in front of the pond and chill with the ducks.